Ever get sick of hauling hay bales around the barn? Hay can be messy, itchy, and expensive. What if there was another way for your horses to receive the same nutrients they would get in hay flakes, without all the hassle? Let's talk about hay cubes. Look no further than cubes. Hay cubes, typically made out of alfalfa hay, are a compressed, dehydrated form of hay. You're still feeding your horse hay, but it's less messy, less wasteful, and less expensive. There are many pros and cons of both hay and cubes, which I will discuss throughout this video. I will also discuss standard feeding quantities of hay and of cubes, and how to convert measurements of one into measurements of the other. Hay cubes, compare and contrast. All horse owners could tell you what it is like to deal with a bale of hay. Bales of hay are heavy, messy, and itchy. You end up dropping a third of the flake on the ground before it makes it into your horse's stall. Your horse mixes a third of it into his shavings, and maybe a third of the bale actually makes it into your horse's digestive tract. Then, you have to go back and sweep the aisle where the first third of the flake fell. Flakes of hay are messy, wasteful, and can be very expensive. But they provide the horse with the necessary nutrients. Cubes typically come in bags, just like grain or oats. They are easy to transport and can be purchased at any feed store. They don't have to come directly from a farmer, as bales of hay do. Bags of cubes typically weigh up to 50 pounds, which can provide enough forage for a horse for a week or so. Sometimes, because cubes are dehydrated, horses choke on them or have trouble chewing them. Cubes are very dry and can cause issues with sensitive of senior horses. But cubes can be wetted down. Soaking cubes can provide horses with the moisture they need to better swallow and digest the cubes. It turns the cubes into almost a hay mash. Especially when soaked with warm water, horses typically love eating their hay like this. Hay cubes, standard feeding quantities. Whether you feed hay flakes or cubes, it is important that your horse is being provided with a healthy, correct quantity of feed. Horses on cubes tend to overeat more than horses on hay flakes. So, it is especially important to make sure horses on cubes are receiving the correct quantity of feed. Generally, it is correct to feed a horse 1% of their body weight in forage daily. Hay flakes. How many flakes of hay to feed a horse? A horse typically gets anywhere from 2 to 4 flakes of hay with each meal. That's anywhere from 4 to 8 flakes a day. Obviously, the exact number will depend on the horse, their body weight, whether this weight is unhealthy or not, and how much access to other forage that the horse has. Hay flakes typically have the same weight and quantities, because there's only so much you can compress actual strands of hay. Hay cubes. Hay cubes, however, can be compressed in varying degrees. Because they are made of dehydrated hay, the amount to which the nutrients are compressed can depend on the quality of the dehydration technique used, as well as other factors. So, it's hard to say whether there is an exact standard in quantity of cubes. Most, if not all cube manufacturers include a quantity guide on the bags of their cubes. These guides are also available online. Purina lists how much to feed a standard horse if its hay is split 50/50 between cubes and flakes. And it lists how much to feed a standard horse if it's 100% on hay cubes. Notice that the quantities vary based on which particular product is purchased. This is because different types of hay cubes have different quantities of certain nutrients. Some are denser than others. So, the exact quantity will depend not only on each horse's unique needs, but also on which type of cube you decide to purchase. Conversion factors. It's hard to say whether there is an exact conversion factor in cubes to hay flakes. The standard to go by is always weight. Determine how many pounds of forage your horse needs to eat a day, and make sure they are getting that, whether it be in hay flakes or cubes. For example, using Purina's horse feed calculator, I estimated that my horse needs 14 or more pounds of forage a day. He gets 6 flakes of hay a day, and he has 10-hour access to grass. It's averaged that a horse eats a pound of grass for every hour they are exposed to it. So, about 10 pounds in grass and the 6 flakes of hay makes up for the rest of it. The same calculation can be done with hay cubes. Let's say my horse didn't have access to grass. If he got 2 pounds of hay flakes a day, he would need another 12 plus pounds of cubes in order to meet his daily needs. So, there isn't an exact conversion between cubes and hay flakes. Instead, correct quantities are measured by how big your horse is and what kind of work he is involved in. Conclusion. I hope this video has helped shed some light on the benefits of feeding hay and what the correct quantities of both flakes and cubes are. If so, please share this video and share with us your experiences feeding with both hay cubes and hay flakes. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.